You clicked on this video probably because you all want to know the big question. Was Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey any good? The answer was it was incredible. The last time I read any translation of, Homer's epic poem was probably when I was in middle school. So I'd say that I am very familiar with the story, but at the same time I wasn't too sure, what to expect seeing a modern day depiction of Greek mythology. In case you aren't familiar, it is about a Greek king named Odysseus who, after winning the Trojan War, makes a perilous return to Ithaca to reunite with his family and reclaim his title. Christopher Nolan, through some top-notch cinematography, film editing, and special effects, really suspends our disbelief into this, mythical world of ancient Greece. He does such an excellent job, engaging us in a society where gods and monsters play a role in people's lives. I have to say, I was very impressed. A technique I enjoy in film, especially in Nolan movies, is the use of non-chronological storytelling. Memento was sequenced backward to help reveal the twist. In Oppenheimer, there were some really eerie flash-forward scenes that played into its theme of existentialism. The Odyssey is filled with flashbacks, which make it feel a bit like a montage, and that might be confusing if you don't know anything about the story, The Odyssey. But I think it worked really well in some pivotal moments of the film where we'll see a flashback that, just realigns our perception of the story and of Odysseus. And let me give an example. One of my favorite sequences in this movie, and I don't think there's too much of a spoiler, is the depiction of the Trojan horse, which as we know is what ended the war. Not only does it have great pacing and some nice use of practical lighting, I really like that, but it was an instance where you really question the ethics of war. Was Odysseus really the hero for fooling the Trojans and burning the entire city with innocent people? There really is an underlying theme about morality that comes to play throughout the Odyssey.
You're like, dude, there was like kids over there. This is my favorite response. Well, they're using kids as human shields. It's like, well, you got to work around that.
Now, as many of you know, the Odyssey has an insanely large cast, and I don't have time to round up every character, but I will talk about the performances that stood out to me. Matt Damon really immerses himself as Odysseus, and it's so crazy to think that I grew up watching his movies, and I'm just so happy to see him continue his really epic career, and many people I'm sure feel the same way. But on the other hand, the actress who a lot of people don't feel the same way about is Anne Hathaway. She, for a long time, used to get a lot of online hate, and I was one of those people that didn't care for her either.
It's been such a great year for big studio pictures, tiny independent films.
And it's been a great year for lesbians.
That's right.
Not just in general, but in movies.
The kids are all right.
Lesbians.
Black Swan.
Dancing lesbians.
Toy Story 3.
Where's the dad?
But her portrayal of Penelope, the queen who has been so long apart from the man she loves, worked for me here. For Anne Hathaway, I get that it's not easy being famous and being on the world stage. And since The Princess Diaries, she really has come a long way. I was really happy to see her in this. Another actor who I was thoroughly impressed by was John Leguizamo as Eumaeus. While he might not have the best track record as an actor, this man really disappeared into the role as a wise and loyal servant, and the casting choice really paid off. The only person who I thought was a bit miscast was Elliot Page as Sinon. I just found the character to be rather disengaging, and I found out apparently he wasn't even in Homer's original poem. It seemed as if Christopher Nolan cast him because they worked together previously on Inception. Maybe Page would have been better in a different role for this film, but that was just me. There are a few other problems I had with the movie. I would have changed some things with the execution of the battle in the third act. The Odyssey also has a 2-hour and 54-minute runtime, which I didn't really feel for the most part, though there are plenty of long films which I absolutely love that have a justifiable length for telling the story. This one could have been trimmed down a little. I would still give this movie an 8 out of 10, however, that's probably going to go up to a 9 after I rewatch it. As I said, I'm not going to give spoilers, but I will say that the hero's journey Odysseus takes of this movie is not just a physical trip. He also takes an emotional and spiritual journey that changes him, and I guarantee when you see this in theaters, you'll feel like you've been on that journey as well.